Europe. Holland. Amsterdam. 15 kilometers from the city center, Schiphol, one of the world's busiest airports. More than 600 aircraft take off or land here every day. Sunday, October 4th, 1992, 2:40 p.m. An aircraft enthusiast takes this footage of an Israeli El Al 747 cargo plane arriving from New York. The jumbo will load up and refuel before flying to Tel Aviv in Israel as flight El Al 1862. 3 p.m. Loading begins, supervised by Jerry Plettenberg, El Al's operations officer. Today's cargo includes consumer products, but some boxes are labeled dangerous goods. Jerry has a good idea what's inside. On El Al cargo flights, he's seen a huge range of military hardware.
Apache helicopters, radar equipment, aircraft wings, missiles, jet engines for F-16, F-15s.
All these weapons supplied the Israeli military, which is locked in a 45-year-old conflict with Palestinian militants. The ongoing crisis makes El Al a top target for Arab terrorists. 7 years ago, gunmen opened fire on El Al check-in queues in Rome and Vienna, killing 19 people. The airline stays on permanent alert for more attacks. Armed security guards keep a close watch on all its planes and personnel. And before loading, all freight passes through a pressure chamber to detonate any bombs planted by terrorists. 5:20 p.m. Flight 1862 has passed security checks. Now the crew arrive for their pre-flight inspection. The 747 is 13 years old, but it still has at least 5 years of useful service before retirement. 59-year-old Captain Yitzhak Fuchs is in command. Like many El Al pilots, Fuchs is a combat-hardened veteran of the Israeli Air Force. He's got 25,000 pilot hours under his belt. Flying alongside Fuchs are flight engineer Gedalia Sophia and co-pilot Arnon Ohad, the rookie of the crew. Just 32, he's been flying jumbos for less than a year. Flight 1862's takeoff will be supervised by air traffic controller Henriette van Openen.
It was wonderful flying weather. You could see to the end of the world.
All the flight paths in and out of Schiphol pass over densely populated areas of Amsterdam. Under one of them lies the Belmer suburb, 13 kilometers to the east. At its heart, the sprawling Groeneveen apartment block. It's home to almost 2,000 people. Among them, Marlene Treidemann, a nurse, and Guillermo, her son.
Every day planes would come over. You got used to that after a while.
Guillermo will celebrate his 17th birthday in 5 days' time. He's a typical teenager, into pop music and martial arts movies. But today, he's been to church with his mother. The Treidemann's home is on the 5th floor of the Groeneveen block. Marlene and her husband Stanley are originally from Suriname, a former Dutch colony in South America. Graciela, their 14-year-old daughter, is a popular girl who's doing well at school.
Always laughing, always happy. A positive word for everyone.
6 p.m. On runway 1 at Schiphol, Captain Fuchs powers up the 747's 4 Pratt & Whitney engines.
LL 1862, ready for taxi.
He hands over to his young co-pilot, Arnon Ohad, to give him more flying experience on the 747. 6 minutes after takeoff, El Al 1862 heads east over Amsterdam suburbs. 6:27 p.m. and 30 seconds. The engines are still at full thrust as the jumbo climbs to 6,500 feet. Everything is running like clockwork. The crew settles in for the flight to Tel Aviv. In less than 5 hours, they'll be back on home soil with their families. Suddenly, a terrifying jolt rocks the plane. It starts to lose altitude and rolls violently to the right. Veteran pilot Captain Fuchs grabs the controls.
I've got up.
He battles to stabilize the jumbo. If he fails, the aircraft will spiral out of control.
LL 1862, Mayday, Mayday, we have an emergency.
After 30 seconds, Captain Fuchs manages to wrestle the jumbo back to steady flight. Flight engineer Sophia desperately scans his control panels to try to find out what's wrong. Seconds later, another crisis. The instruments reveal that both engines on the right wing are out of action. It's a pilot's nightmare. Captain Fuchs must get back to Schiphol for an emergency landing. Fast. He tells co-pilot Ohad he needs the airport's longest runway.
We request 27 for landing.
Air traffic control clears the jumbo for the journey back to Schiphol.
In that case, heading 360. 360 the heading.
Roger.
The return route to runway 27 will take the jumbo over the Belma suburb where the Treidemann family lives. They and thousands of others in the crippled jet's flight path are completely unaware of the drama unfolding above them. LL-1862, a fully loaded 747 cargo plane, is badly damaged and rapidly losing height.
LL 1862, Mayday, Mayday, we have an emergency.
6:30 p.m. Fire crews race into position at Schiphol Airport, where the jumbo is due to arrive in less than 10 minutes. The 747 must make a descending turn over Amsterdam to reach the correct altitude and line up for runway 27. Its final approach will take it over the Groeneveen apartment complex, where the Treidemann family lives. Marlena and Stanley decide to visit a friend nearby. They tell their children, Guillermo and Graciela, they'll be back soon. (6:33 p.m. and 35 seconds).
Descend to 2,000 feet.
Air traffic controller Henk ter Brakke clears the stricken jumbo to land at runway 27.
Okay, you have around 13 miles to go to touchdown. Speed is all yours.
The 747 is 2 minutes from the Belma suburb. Marlena and Stanley are halfway to their friend's apartment. It's a typical Sunday evening. Many people are at home with their families.
It was very relaxed outside. You could hear the children playing. You could see the people on the walkways.